2024 is the year of information and psychological operations. The battle is not only for resources but also for the support of the public in different countries, with a particular focus on influencing voters in the world's strong democracies, such as the USA, the UK, France, Japan and other G7 countries. What are information and psychological operations and why are they used? Information and psychological operations are a set of measures aimed at influencing the consciousness, emotions and behavior of people through the manipulation of information. The goal of PSYOP is to shape specific attitudes, ideologies and behavioral models among citizens, or to destabilize the situation in society. This is achieved through the dissemination of false, manipulative or selectively presented information that prompts people to take actions or make decisions beneficial to the initiators of this operation. PSYOP can be used both during military conflicts and in peacetime to shape public opinion, exert political influence or apply economic pressure. For example, Kremlin-controlled media, citing so-called underground resources, spread information about the appearance of black market organ traffickers in the Sumy region of Ukraine. According to hostile sources, they arrived from the West and travel in foreign medical vehicles. The information spread by the Russians is fake, and are other reports by Russian propaganda about black market organ traffickers on Ukrainian territory. Such fakes are part of the enemy's black organ trade campaign disinformation aimed at discrediting Ukraine's military and political leadership and creating a negative image of the state in the eyes of the international community. The information campaign about the black market trade has been spread by the enemy since 2014. To do this, Russian fabricators create fake stories, documents, and even fictional articles and news. Why is disinformation dangerous and how do they seek to manipulate people? Disinformation is deliberately false or manipulative information spread to deceive people. The danger of disinformation lies in its ability to cause panic, divide society, undermine trust in state institutions and international partners, and provoke violent actions or lead to the adoption of incorrect decisions. Manipulators are disinformation to create false perceptions among people, control their emotions and behavior, which can have devastating consequences for both individuals and society as a whole. What popular information operations occurred online between 2024 and 2022? During the period of 2022 and 2024, and at the start of the full-scale war, several large-scale PSYOPs targeted the Ukrainian audience, significantly impacting public opinion and spreading disinformation. The first one is Ukrainian surrender. At the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Russian propagandists actively spread fakes about the alleged readiness of the Ukrainian government to surrender. This aimed to disorient Ukrainians and undermine their belief in victory. Now we are in the third year of the war. Strange events are happening in Russia itself, such as in the Kursk region right now. If I am not mistaken, the Ukrainian armed forces are conducting an operation to secure the Ukrainian-Russian border there. The second one is power outages in Ukraine. By spreading rumors about the inevitable and complete shutdown of Ukraine's energy system due to missile strikes, this operation aimed to sow panic among the population and increase public fear and distrust of the government. The winter of 2023 and the summer of 2024 showed that even under conditions of 80% destruction of energy infrastructure, Ukraine can maintain the operation of its energy system, and again the people stood firm. The third one was that Western partners are abandoning Ukraine. Repeatedly, one after another, messages appeared online claiming that Western countries were withdrawing their support for Ukraine or significantly reducing aid. This was intended to weaken trust in international partners and create the image of an isolated Ukraine in spite of the enemy. Despite a 6 months delay in the supply of American weapons, the Ukrainian front withstood the pressure of the Russian army, and by late summer 2024, weapons, including ATACMS missiles, are flowing robustly to Ukraine's security forces. Russia spreads information and psychological operations targeting a Western audience too, particularly the public in the United States, for several strategic reasons. The first one is to undermine the unity of Western countries. One of Russia's main goals is to sow discord among Western countries and undermine their unity. This affects both the internal political situations in each country and international cooperation, particularly within NATO or the EU. Disagreements and tensions among allies weaken their ability to act cohesively against Russia's aggressive actions. Influencing political processes in the USA is another important topic for Russia, because it seeks to influence domestic politics in the US by manipulating public opinion and contributing to societal polarization. This can include supporting extremist movements or candidates who oppose the current government or continuing support for Ukraine. For example, during elections, Russia tries to create disinformation campaigns to influence the outcome of electoral races. Undermining trust in Western institutions. Russia uses information operations to undermine trust in key institutions of Western democracies, such as the media, judiciary, electoral processes, and governments. This can lead to a decline in the legitimacy of these institutions in the eyes of their citizens, creating preconditions for chaos and a crisis of power. While the crisis unfolds, Russia can do whatever it wants, such as further undermine the international order and sponsor international terrorism. Reducing support for Ukraine. Russia aims to reduce support for Ukraine from Western countries, particularly by the United States, by spreading fakes about the inefficiency or corruption of Ukrainian government, as well as about the alleged unprofitability of assisting Ukraine for Western countries themselves. This can affect the willingness of Western governments and citizens to continue providing financial and military support to Ukraine. We sadly observed long debates in the American Parliament on whether to allocate those $61 billion in aid to Ukraine or not. And the fifth one is to create an alternative reality. Russia actively promotes an alternative narrative of global events in which it is portrayed as the defender of traditional values and sovereignty, while the West is depicted as the aggressor and source of global instability. This narrative resonates with certain groups who are critical of their governments or globalization. Conspiracy theories are Russia's main allies in this regard. One can believe that the Earth is flat and that Putin is a defender of traditional values, whatever that may mean. And by spreading disinformation operations among Western audiences, Russia seeks not only to achieve its strategic goals, but also to weaken the West's ability to effectively counter its own aggressive actions on the international stage. To avoid the influence of disinformation, it is important to develop critical thinking, verify information from multiple sources, and be cautious about the news, especially on social media.
We in the game.